Wherefore, Series 3, Episode 36. Purgatory isn't far from Stroud. This may come as a surprise to those of you not familiar with the local geography. In some stories, purgatory is depicted as being a vast and grim space where you have to go to purify your soul before heaven is even an option. You might get there via the Winnie Moor, and while no one is entirely sure what a Winnie is, they turn out to be prickly and not a great deal of fun. Probably a lot like brambles. Brambles are a lot like having to atone for your sins, especially during the majority of the year when they don't even offer the recompense of blackberries. It might be reasonable to expect purgatory to be heavy on the gorse bushes because nothing says penance like trying to make your way through a gorse bush. But no, Purgatory Wood on the side of Swift's Hill is not outstandingly possessed of attack shrubbery and is frequently mistaken for a rather nice place. The Hypothetical Gentlemen's Sauntering Association managed to saunter through it with no ill effects and only a few terrible jokes. They make it to the summit of Swift's Hill with no obvious Winnie encounters. There is some shared recollecting of the story about the time someone put a massive Buddha statue up here and you could see it from the pub in Slad. Not that any of them actually saw it, but this sort of story has a way of getting into the landscape and into people's heads. Then there is some shared recollecting of that time when there were naked druids in the quarry, and some of them did actually see that and cannot quite wipe the experience from their minds. There is, it turns out, some sort of comfort in sharing the horror. Up until then, I didn't even know he was a druid, Martin Shearwater adds with a shudder. Not that he has anything against druids, it's just that he's easily unsettled by unexpected buttocks. He glances nervously around the assembled gathering just to make sure none of them have succumbed to de-trousering urges. It could, after all, be something intrinsic to the place. They do not catch the bus from Purgatory Wood. They do not even see the bus. In fairness, seeing a bus in rural Gloucestershire is likely to be a mythical or mystical experience. People who think they have seen a bus often ascribe it to temporary madness, accidentally imbibed hallucinogens, deliberately imbibed hallucinogens, or aliens trying to disguise themselves. All of these things are far more plausible explanations than imagining that a bus might have been present. The bus from Purgatory Wood is the only frequently running and entirely reliable bus in Gloucestershire. It will take you to hell. The size of the bus varies depending on the number of souls who need it, but there are a regular supply of people coming out of purgatory. The dead are helpfully invisible to most people, as is the bus, and general disbelief in the likelihood of buses will give you some protection should you encounter it. Very few people catch this particular bus by accident, which is as well. The Hypothetical Gentlemen's Sauntering Association have, of course, been through the heavens already. Again, for those of you unused to the local geography, the heavens is distinctly different from heaven. There's quite a nice collection of fields with a decent selection of ghosts and associated weird stories. Access to heaven is generally considered more complicated. Next door to the heavens is a dark and dank little valley that turns out to be much bigger than you think it's going to be when you actually get in there. This is the Horns. As unsubtle references to hellmouths go, it is one. You can, of course, wander into hell from pretty much anywhere. They keep all the doors open and have a warm and welcoming attitude. This is why you really don't want to accidentally flag down the bus from Purgatory Wood, having mistaken it for the Slad bus to Stroud, which of course only comes through on a Tuesday and only in one direction, and this is never the direction you hoped to travel in. Hell is welcoming, and if you flag down the bus they will stop and let you board it. There are reasons to be wary of buses that turn up when you want them and seem to be heading the right way. There is wisdom in assuming such buses aren't real, lest they seduce you and carry you away, never to return. Gone are the days when uncanny entities would try and lure you in with tempting fruit. Anyone can buy fruit. Strawberries in winter? Sure. Cherries while it's snowing? You don't need gods or fairies to hand those out anymore. Buses, on the other hand, are scarce and marvellous, and sometimes people board them without being anything like sceptical enough. The bus to hell stops at merry walks sometimes. There is nothing merry about merry walks. The shadows lie deep there, and none of the buses are especially inviting. There is a stretch of road that is like a bus station, only without all the charm and beauty one usually associates with bus stations. There are often people who are desperate enough to get on this bus. Hell is a bit outside my remit, to be honest. It's a bit outside Stroud as well. I suspect there are little patches of purgatory all over the place, taking in the souls of the lost and the damned, the living and the dead. I expect most towns have their bus to hell. Ours goes past egotricity. Perhaps one day it will be a more environmentally friendly electric bus, and that will be nice. Something for us all to look forward to.